Welcome back to another episode of Chasing Summer Sailing as we fill, we prime, and we paint. Hi. As you suspect, that's me. For the last 15 years of my life. I took that summer job in college and, well, I got good at it and forgot to leave. Don't get me wrong, I had fun too. I got to coach a college wrestling club for 10 years at UCF. But towards the end, I was craving an adventure. So, like most of you who are watching this, I found Delos, and I was hooked. So, like my namesake, Captain James Cook, it's the high seas life for me. So follow along as I prepare to join the 2025 World Arc. I pick up some friends and go off on an adventure. Alright, so I'm going to go through the steps and then I'll pick it up in the time lapse in a second. So basically, go through, take your acetone and a clean rag. Clean your area. Because remember, see, all that's going to come off. But you're really just looking for the dust. You're not so much worried about the paint. The dust is going to be the problem, not the paint. So once that's all clean, go ahead and take this is where you would eventually go mix your filler. Just using a Total Boat all-purpose filler. It says it's permanent fiberglass filler. I'm a little hesitant because on the front side it says permanent, on the back side it says water resistant. So we'll see. It should be fine. It's a little colder today. Normally this will set up in like 4 to 6 minutes, so you don't want to leave it just sitting there. But seeing as it's one of the few days in Florida where it's cold, it's like 40 some degrees right now. Just go ahead and put your putty in there and then scrape it nice and soft. Just want to fill the holes. You're not trying to create bumps because bumps give growth underwater. Just scratch it like that. And if you have a little extra, that's okay because you're going to come back and sand it anyway. So got towards the end of that can and I don't know if it's just an old can or it's just not setting up or I didn't mix it properly, but it started getting to more of like a thick mud than a nice toothpaste, I guess. The toothpaste consistency means you got everything good, but if it's getting that thick mud where it's just kind of clumping, you don't really want that because it's not going to settle correctly and it's just going to flake off when you sand. So I'm going to go run and get a new can. I'll let what's on there harden, sand it off, and then redo it. But I would like this done correctly. It's already colder, but it's starting to warm up now. We're probably back up to 60s from the 40s we were in an hour ago. So that's nice. The hotter it gets, the quicker it'll dry. Because if you notice how quickly those faded off, we'll go over to where we started with the right consistency over here. Now, it's much thicker in this area because I had a lot of them. Let's see how smooth that looks. That's how it should be looking. Okay. That's how it should look. And we sand it down once it gets nice and hard. Now, real quickly, as I go back through all my stuff, I would like to note, I am not a professional. I'm not an expert at any of this. And 90% of what I do, I fake it till I make it. So, this is all things I've done in the past on other boats that works properly. It may not be the correct thing. It may not be the way you do it. It's just worked for me in the past. So, don't take this as the holy grail of how to fix a boat. But it is far from that. But, for anyone who needs to go exploring and needs to get it done, this is proof you can do it. So it's been about an hour since we started, maybe a little bit more. And we're going back to that front side. You can see in here, it's all nice and hard. Okay, there's some thicker areas that are a little goopy that I'm gonna probably let sit for a little bit longer. But I'll go ahead and hit these nice and thinner sides. That's why you don't want it too thick, but it's not. It just means it's gonna dry longer, but that's okay. So we'll show you this piece real quick. And you got a nice smooth surface that you can paint to. That's what you want. All those pits will be gone. So we're just gonna hit the rest of this. All right, so looking back, probably should have went thinner. Less to sand off and wouldn't have had to buy a second case, but honestly it feels really smooth. Probably a little bit more right there. I can kind of feel the lip, but then as you see, I missed one there and some of these didn't take, so we'll have to clean those, refill those, and re-sand them again. But overall this feels really uniform, which is nice. I don't even know where it was right there, which is good. And then down here, same thing. A couple little spots where I need to get a little bit better. But the whole keel feels really smooth. Rudder. Feels really smooth. And that's what we're aiming to do. So I'm gonna keep sanding. And then I'll refill afterwards. All right, done with the first set of sanding. Gonna have to go back and get the spots of mist, but as you can see, we got all of it off and it's nice and smooth, solid. See, I missed a spot right here, so I'll go back and hit that. See on the bottom, everything's all nice and smooth. All those pits are filled in. It's kind of what you want. So after you do your first coat, go around, double check you got everything. I should have been wearing my mask the whole time. I didn't put it on until I started getting a little bit closer to the dust. But yeah, so as you see, I missed some spots here, some spots there. So just go through. I'm gonna probably just take a Sharpie and circle it. Each little spot, that way I make sure I don't miss it twice. Should be good to go. Might be all I get done today. It's about 4 o'clock. They close this place about 5:30. And you'll see like some of these bigger ones. This one was the big one that we had to fill in. Just got a little out there that didn't set right, but clean all those up, refill them, and we're good to go. So after a couple more days of sanding down little pits and blisters and putting in the filler, I've got my 2-part epoxy primer. I'm raising my waterline up because when they originally painted it, I'm assuming they painted the waterline when it was still empty, but now that things have been put in it over the past, the waterline has gone above and it's creating a little blister, so we're raising it with the bottom paint. So I'm putting the 2-part primer. I am taking a slight risk because I do not know if I use a 1-part primer or a 2-part, and I can't find a 1-part bottom primer, so we're doing a 2-part. Because 2-part should never go over a 1-part because it softens the paint below it. So I'm taking a risk. We'll have to just monitor it over the next couple months. If I see paint starting to come off, I'm gonna have to haul it out and do it again. So let's hope not. But starting to raise that water line with that primer all the way across, hitting these spots down here that were already down to the primer. Just add some extra primer. And then I can throw my bottom paint on. Good morning. So, got all the patchy spots primed where I raised the water line, and all the spots we were down to the gel coat or the old primer. There's a lot more than I thought. Took about 3/4 of a gallon to get 2 coats on everything, but it's all nice and primed. So next step, bottom paint. First coat of paint is on. Looking pretty good. So I went through about 2 gallons of the Trinidad 75. Makes me nervous because according to the paint thing online, I only needed 3 gallons to do the whole boat with 2 coats. So we'll see how that goes because I got 1 gallon left. But if I remember correctly, the second coat goes a lot longer because the first coat's already absorbed. So we'll see how that goes. Time for lunch. So it's been about 4 hours since the first coat went on. Time for the second coat. Fingers crossed this 1 gallon goes all the way through the whole boat. I got about a gallon and a little less than a quart and the other one left. So fingers crossed that works, because if not, I'm gonna have to run to West Marine and get another one. I don't have high hopes for this though, so we'll see. So, those online calculators, trying to figure out how much paint you need. It said it needed 2.77 gallons. I think it meant 3.77 because a fourth gallon would have got me all the way through with some extra. So whenever you use those calculators, definitely keep in mind that you're going to need at least one more gallon because it's going to be wrong. It's been wrong every time. I should have known better. Now I'm in the hunt for more Trinidad 75. And that's a wrap. Bottom job is done. Pretty good on my lines. There's a couple spots where I should have been up a fraction higher because you can still see slight edges of the blue boot stripe. But overall, I'm not mad at it. So that'll conclude the bottom job. Now time for the next project. Up next on Chasing Summer Sailing, we go above the waterline to really make her shine. See you next week.